Happy Earth Day, comrades.
I hope nobody is leaving their house and nobody's driving in cars.
And don't use anything wrapped in plastic.
No, certainly not. And certainly if you're...
no meat.
No meat, only cockroach milk. If you're an elite, obviously you're not going to be flying in any jets. No celebrities will be flying in any jets.
Prime Minister Trudeau, of course.
Well, of course. Well, it's more than allowed. If you're the Prime Minister of Canada, you're not only allowed to fly anywhere you want and have an expensive lifestyle. No one will criticize you, but also you're going to maybe get a new house.
Yes. Yes, so maybe before we get to that, let's go to the video first of these protesters in Vancouver.
Yes.
Burnaby, BC, British Columbia, who were, of course, the environmentalists, and they were protesting on behalf of the environment.
On behalf of the earth.
And yeah, let's have a look here. Look, they were dragged to the side by people simply trying to go about their daily. Let's have a quick look at this to precursor our Earth Day chat.
They're like children, sort of.
Being wrangled.
Yeah, right. You have children, right? It's like you put one over here and then you go to get the other one and the other one's moved and it's like ah. And they're both wearing the same vest, so that's confusing. It's just like dragging piles of sand.
Well, I like that you made that reference too. It reminds me of what would happen in like a zoo situation or a mom with her kittens, right? Where she literally picks them up and carries them, and then the other ones are
they kind of waddled around
and they're trying to get back.
Yeah, it's sad, but you know these guys are going to save the earth. So,
oh look, and here comes the enforcement, law enforcement. So I wonder though, because the clip cuts off here, so you don't see what happens.
You don't know.
All you see are the police start to move in on the situation, because I imagine it would escalate. You know, these people are obviously frustrated, trying to go about their day, and they're being prevented from doing that, blockaded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just went through a month of blockades in Ottawa for the truckers thing, so there's...
But it wasn't even a blockade in that sense. You know, they were still mindful that people had to be able to maneuver to and from, and
I mean, there was ways to go. It was just like a couple streets in the downtown core of Ottawa, so you could still get to where you go. You just drive around.
It was an inconvenience.
It was an inconvenience,
but it wasn't a blockade. But I'd be really interested to know what happened after that. The police officers came forward. Were they arrested? Did they have their bank accounts frozen?
Were they trampled by a horse? Probably not. I don't think the Emergencies Act was invoked for this incident, but probably because no one was showing up. It was like thousands of people weren't showing up to support these netters. But
maybe they needed more time.
Yeah, to really get the movement
that kind
going.
of just highlights the hypocrisy of all these, you know, I care about the current thing, virtue signalers, because as we stated, it's Earth Day, and so we have these climate alarmists protesting and blocking people from just getting to work and going about their daily. But we also have our fearless leader, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who is having a proposed new residence being built for him. So the federal government is drawing up possible plans for a bigger, grander location, because I guess the official duties of the Prime Minister requires
lavishness.
And it actually is aiming to increase his current residence by 3,500 square feet.
It's modest, you guys.
So they want to replace 24 Sussex Drive, which I guess is not where he is even actually residing currently, due to safety concerns.
Oh, because of the truckers, probably.
I think it's because it's old. It's a little bit decrepit.
Oh, because of that kind of safety.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't. So in this article, which is behind a paywall, I'm not sure if we can pull it up, the full thing.
I think
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah. So he needs, the opening paragraph is so funny because there it is. The federal government has drawn up plans for a new home for prime ministers that presents better branding
that
of Canada.
as a G7 member and world player, like, are you a marketing agency? Like, do we really care about how the Prime Minister is branded? But yes, we do, because that's how people vote these days. They're like, oh, that's shiny, that's exciting. I like his hair.
Great hair and
yeah,
great
I know
socks.
his dad, so therefore he's going to be a great leader for Canada. It's just like there's nothing else going on in Canada that maybe that needs attention and priority and funding.
Well, and it said in that article as well, just to go back to it maybe, so they're going to require space for a sit-down meal of 125 people at a time. And so further down in this article, there's a local architect weighs in. And first, there's this 48-page report called the Preliminary Functional Programming Report. And it was released as an ATIP, so an access to information. And I'd really like to get my hands on that. I think that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah.
To see what exactly is included in that 48-page report. But further down, there's a local architect's comments. Let me just see if we can scroll down to it a little bit more. 125 people again. Yeah, just, there it is. Ottawa architect Toon Dressen. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. He questions how often is there a 125-person event?
There's nowhere else they can go?
Yeah,
like
if this is a once-a-year thing or even a few times a year, why build and invest in all that for so few occurrences? And if you scroll down just slightly more, wouldn't it make more sense to use spaces we already have? So they currently hold banquets and large events at Rideau Hall and the Canadian Museum of History and the Canadian War Museum. Why is that not sufficient? I mean, if we really care about the environment and our lessening our ecological footprint and all these virtuous things like waste and energy consumption, well, that seems like a giant waste of resources, especially given you already have a space to do all of those things.
Yes, and it's all the fact that they put the word branding in like the first paragraph really shows you what it really is about. It's not because, he needs somewhere to live, he needs safety, it's about like when Chinese diplomats come over and how impressive does Trudeau seem. Like that's what it reads to me. Maybe I'm a little cynical though.
Hi, we have a housing crisis.
Yeah, yes,
here
that
in
too.
Canada.
Like Chrystia Freeland just 2 weeks ago was talking about the housing crisis during the budgetary
their budget
thing.
release. Yeah, they've apparently been committed and focused on this for at least 5, if not 6 years that they've been in term. But as a Canadian, I've never heard them speak about this until recently, until Pierre Poilievre started sounding the alarms on that crisis. People can't rent. They can't even get into the market as a buyer. That's completely unsustainable and unattainable at this point in Canada. And there is a homelessness as a result, and there are working Canadians who genuinely cannot afford even a rental property, a suitable rental property. And meanwhile, Justin Trudeau gets to just, on taxpayer dollars, go and build himself a lavish new residence because all those other buildings and entities that he has access to readily no longer suffice.
He makes like $300,000 a year. You'd think that he'd be able to scrounge enough money to like put up extra bedroom on something, or, like he has so many properties. He has his cottage, and obviously Sussex isn't his property; it belongs to the Prime Minister. But you'd think he'd have enough money to give himself like a nice home, and they can use all the locations that you described for large events. Like, it's so unnecessary, it's so lavish, it's all about branding and how we are perceived and how we look, and it's like, especially on Earth Day, it's like such a slap in the face to Canadians.
It is. It's again highlighting, and I've been saying this for at least 2 years, the hypocrisy of the new normal, which was also just the hypocrisy of the previous normal as well.
Oh, hey guys, thanks for watching. That's a clip from our Rebel News daily live stream where we talk about the news of the day in an unscripted and interactive way. It's co-hosted at noon Eastern or 10 Mountain Standard Time by me on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, we've got rotating co-hosting happening from some of our other on-air talent. So good news, there's something for everybody. We broadcast on YouTube. But if you want the full uncensored version, you're going to have to find us on Rumble, Super U, and Odyssey, and be sure to sign up for our rebelnews.com emails so that you never miss us when we go live.